When someone asks me what is economics, it's kind of a little bit of a maddening question because they want a simple answer, something that's nice and concise and they can take away with them. So let's set aside this big area of what is economics. Instead, let's start with a separate question to say, what is an economy? An economy is a way that society organizes itself to produce the goods and services that people, businesses and governments want and need, and then that they produce these goods and services in sufficient quantities to fulfill these wants and needs. So let's think about an example. Let's think about an apple, a piece of fruit, that when you start a society, you don't automatically get apples. You don't sort of flick the switch on your society and then hold your hands up and then apples fall from the sky. That's not how things work. A society has to make deliberate decisions to ensure that, one, the right kinds of goods and services are produced, so the goods and services that individuals, businesses and governments actually want and need, and then that these goods and services are produced in sufficient quantities to fulfill the needs and wants of individuals, businesses and governments. The point that I would make is that just because you have society and you have resources doesn't mean you have apples. These require deliberate decisions. You're not going to automatically end up with goods and services. You have to choose which ones you want and then make more choices about how much you're going to produce to ensure that there's enough for today, tomorrow, and into the future. Economics as a whole, as a discipline, is the study of choices. Economics is about how society chooses between alternatives to produce certain goods and services because, unfortunately, we just can't do everything. This is the concept of scarcity. So in economics, all of our thinking is underpinned by this idea that we have unlimited wants but limited resources. This is the economic problem that we are trying to solve. For example, if we are dedicating our efforts as society to producing apples in terms of people, capital equipment, money, time, those kind of things, we can't use those same resources to then produce computers. We can't do those two things at the same time with the same resources. So we have to choose. We have to organize society in terms of, okay, our priority is on apple production. That's where all the resources are going. We're going to leave computers for now. The things that are used to produce goods and services, so resources, are limited. Think about you. A big resource that you have is time, but that is limited to 24 hours a day. The Australian government would like to spend an unlimited amount of money to fulfill everyone's desires and to stay in power forever. But the amount of money it has access to at any point in time is limited. A business would like to hire an enormous number of people to expand into lots of different locations and be a global success. But it doesn't have access to people, locations, money in that kind of infinite scenario. All of these groups have to constantly make choices. So if we try and wrap this all up, when we are asking the question, what is economics? We are talking about an economy. An economy is a way that society is organizing production in order to produce the right kind of goods and services and in the right kind of quantities to satisfy individuals, businesses and governments' needs and wants now, tomorrow and in the future. If you've got any questions or things you want to clarify, please put them in the comments. I'll also link to a blog post that is directly on this topic and has a little bit of extra information. And if you're looking for the next video, may I suggest you look over here and watch this one. I think it will be really interesting. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.